Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Hannah Whiteman, and I serve as the Consul General here in Leipzig, Germany. I come before you today with a detailed proposal addressing the recent hostage situation involving the 5 U.S. citizens being held by Islamic State terrorists in Leipzig and Frankfurt. As we all know, this crisis has escalated quickly, with the terrorists demanding a ransom of $10 million per hostage in a deadline of 48 hours. Our priority is to work closely with the German government and intelligence services to resolve this situation and bring our citizens home safely. The first step in our immediate crisis response is to collaborate with the German intelligence and law enforcement agencies, particularly with the Ministry of the Interior, which oversees counterterrorism operations in the country. The German Federal Police, as well as the BFV, or Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution, will also be crucial in this investigation and hostage rescue operation. We will need to integrate our U.S. law enforcement and intelligence resources, and I propose we do that through a joint task force where U.S. and German intelligence agencies, law enforcement, and special forces may share real-time information and resources. The FBI's hostage rescue team may be able to offer some tactical support. However, we will be deferring to the Germans on the operational ground level efforts. Through diplomatic channels, I will work continuously and closely with our German counterparts, especially the Foreign Minister and the Chancellor's office, to ensure that they understand the urgency of the situation and provide full cooperation. We must also be prepared for possibly releasing a joint statement to the public about our commitment to the hostages' safe return. As far as communication with the hostages' families and U.S. congressional representatives, these families are understandably distraught. I could not imagine being in their situation, and members of Congress are already calling the embassy for answers. As Consul General, I recommend that we establish a clear line of communication with the families and congressional representatives to ensure they feel supported and informed without undermining our ongoing negotiation efforts. For the families, we will set up a dedicated team to provide 24/7 updates. This team will include a liaison officer as well as a counselor to address their emotional needs. It is extremely important that we keep them informed with the understanding and the caveat that not all information can be disclosed in real time for the safety of our operation. We need to manage their expectations in this manner while being transparent about our efforts in rescuing their family members. As far as congressional outreach, I recommend that the ambassador personally reaches out to members of Congress whose constituents are impacted by this crisis. The outreach should convey the message that should convey our unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of U.S. citizens, the close cooperation with our German counterparts and authorities, and our shared responsibility to respond to this threat. The members will also be briefed regularly by our legislative affairs team in the D.C. office. As far as our strategy with dealing with terrorists, our engagement with the terrorists must be handled delicately and with the utmost caution. The terrorist demand for a ransom can be used as a tactic, or could be used currently as a tactic, to gain leverage and or influence our response to them. However, it is critical that we do not directly negotiate with them, as it could embolden them and give them more confidence and undermine our position in future negotiations. I recommend that we utilize back-channel communications through intermediaries, including trusted actors in the international community or humanitarian organizations, to facilitate any dialogue between ourselves and the terrorists. This could involve neutral countries or groups with experience mediating similar crises. The U.S. government has a long-standing non-negotiation policy, and we do not pay ransom to terrorists. Our strategy must be to exert pressure on the perpetrators through intelligence, diplomatic efforts, and working with the German authorities. We will also work with the U.S. Treasury Department to freeze any assets related to the terrorist work and utilize financial leverage where possible. To effectively manage this crisis, there will be resources needed from DC and the State Department. First, we will need a crisis management team. A senior level crisis management team should be mobilized at the State Department to monitor the situation and provide guidance, resources, and any logistical support needed. This team should include personnel from the Bureau of Consular Affairs, Bureau of Counterterrorism, and the Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs. As far as intelligence and security resources, we will require real-time intelligence and security assessments from the CIA and NSA to track the terrorist movements and monitor communications. The U.S. military in Germany, particularly the U.S. European Command, should be on standby should any necessary operational support be required. As far as diplomatic support, the State Department's Bureau of Eurasian and Eurasian Affairs in the U.S. Embassy in Berlin should coordinate closely with German officials at all levels. If necessary, we should seek the assistance of our allies within the EU and NATO for additional intelligence sharing. Now, moving on to the embassy's press strategy, the public's response to this crisis will be intense, and media is likely to be focusing on the fate of these hostages. The U.S. Embassy's press strategy should be one of transparency while ensuring operational security is not compromised. I recommend holding regularly scheduled briefings to keep the public informed. The press should be reminded that the United States government is doing everything we can possible to secure the safe release of these hostages, while also respecting the German authorities' lead in the operational aspects of this crisis. Some of our key messages should include: we are working closely with the German government to resolve the situation. We will not negotiate with terrorists, but we are committed to all diplomatic and legal avenues to ensure the hostages' safe release. Our priority is the safety and well-being of U.S. citizens, and we are in constant communication with their families and congressional members. We stand united with our allies in combating terrorism. Now, given the heightened threat level, security for U.S. Embassy personnel, military personnel, and U.S. American citizens living and working in Germany will need to be increased. We will work with German security services to ensure the U.S. citizens are safe and that any potential terrorist threats are swiftly identified and neutralized. As far as embassy and military security, both the U.S. Embassy and our consulates across Germany should increase our physical security measures, including surveillance and checkpoints, and ensure that U.S. military personnel is at a heightened alert status at all of our bases in Germany. Additionally, a review of personal security for U.S. citizens living in Germany should also be conducted, and possibly an advisory for American citizens to avoid high-risk areas. In conclusion, Ambassador, we are facing a complex and urgent situation, but through close communication with families and Congress, coordination and collaboration with our German partners, and a firm stance against negotiating with terrorists, I believe we can navigate this crisis effectively and efficiently. I look forward to working with you and this team to ensure the safe return of our citizens and the protection of U.S. interests in Germany. Thank you.